Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you very much if you're a subscriber. We've now reached 600,802 subscribers. So this is a thanks very much to everyone that has subscribed, and a big thank you to those that have been involved in the channel, those that have joined in with a live, for example, those who have chatted to me whilst I've been doing silly things live, those that have commented. If you've liked a video, if you've subscribed, that's even greater. You're one of those numbers. So a great appreciation to all those involved. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to run a YouTube channel, maybe a little bit about what I might do in the future, what's happened in the past in terms of reminiscing slightly with some of the numbers here, so you can get an idea if you wanted to start something up like this yourself, or just, like I say, reminisce about what has been going on. And for many of you, I get comments every now and again saying, oh, I was with you 6 years ago, or maybe even 10 years ago, because this channel has been running for around about 10 years when I seriously started producing content anyway, if you can call it seriously. So there's lots of history there, and lots of people will have joined along the way. And thank you for those that haven't unsubscribed because they've been bored of me constantly posting. That has always been my attitude. I've always wanted to just go for it. So there's been lots of experiments on the channel. Some things have worked, some things haven't. But I tend to have that sort of philosophy in life anyway, which is just to go for these things, try it out, fail often. And it's through that failure that most of our learning happens. So I'm a big proponent of this idea of just doing things and failing. Around about 1,000 videos produced. And my philosophy, like I say, is just to push things out, see how they go. So my numbers are probably not that great for someone that has 600,000 subscribers. So when I talk about the numbers in a moment, you might think, oh, that's pretty poor, isn't it? Maybe it is, but it's probably because I'm producing fairly low quality content at times. But maybe recently it's gotten better as I've learnt how to produce and so forth. But anyway, let's have a look at the numbers. So in terms of views, we're 67 million views. Watch time is 3.8 million hours. Subscribers, we've mentioned, 600,000, where to go. Estimated revenue, I'm not sure there was a thing ages ago where you're not supposed to talk about your revenue, but I think it's okay. I earn, through advertising I earn about £1,000 per month. It really does fluctuate a lot. And I've been producing some good videos recently, so they get more views and therefore you get more advertising revenue. And also I've opened up my channel to membership and been producing a few much longer form videos of me just chatting away, going through the process. So some people really like that. They just want to see the whole entire process, which I think is a boring video, but channel membership kind of allows that. So I thought that's a good plan. And I've had a few people sign up to that. So I think that's why my revenue has gone up to just over 1,030 it is this month. So thank you to those people watching my videos, because that makes a difference. And thanks if you've become a member, and you can, if you want to support me, you can become a member if you haven't already. And there's videos on there about, it shows the entire process. So often I do a shorter version for YouTube and talk, oh, I did this, then I did this, but it's the whole process, hours long videos on there that you can watch if you want to become a member. My most popular video is Texture Painting, a quick start guide, and that's got 1.5 million views. It's strange because it's only 3.5 minutes long. It was quite a nice, easy one to produce, but it's got the most views. So it's strange how sometimes you don't put in a huge amount of effort, you get great rewards, and then other videos that I put loads of effort into don't do so well. So it's kind of surprising, isn't it? So in terms of revenue, it's not that high considering the amount of followers that I have, but there's more revenue that I get from things like the courses that I sell, and I do get a bit of sponsorship every now and again. Got these monitors, well, you can probably see one of them, there's 2 monitors here, same size, which was nice that I got those. I got this nice drawing tablet, and I got the whole computer from NVIDIA. So that's Asus, SenseLab, and NVIDIA. I ought to mention the sponsors seeing as they've invested in me slightly, but I suppose I've had them for a while now, so they've got their sponsorship worth, hopefully anyway. In terms of the views over time, you can see the start at 2016, roughly around there, and then it just slowly goes up, and then there was a sudden spike, and I got really excited. I thought I can quit my teaching job because I was teaching sixth form at the time, but it took a little bit longer, and in fact my YouTube channel never really got to the stage where I could quit my teaching job until I started creating courses as well, and then I was selling the courses because I had a relatively large reach at that point. So the YouTube channel is kind of a secondary income really to the course income. And you can see it's actually dipped off quite a lot. I think that's general sort of saturation. There's lots of YouTubers out there doing a great job. So there's lots of competition, if we can call it competition. They're obviously all doing different things, but you can go lots of different places to find out about Blender. So it sort of dipped off, as you can see there, and it's sort of fairly stable, as you can see. In the last few years, it's just kind of stayed the same. Maybe it's taken a bit of an uptick. I've thought get back into it a bit more and try and produce a video. 2 videos a week is what I aim for. It doesn't always work out, but that's what I try and do. In terms of being a YouTuber, it's more a sort of YouTube educator, I guess. And it's very different from when I was in the classroom. In the classroom, you can see the students, you see the results as well. But being a YouTuber, you produce the content, and your only feedback is kind of the views that it gets and a few comments. Occasionally people tag me on Instagram and things like that to show me their results, which is nice. I do like to see that, so please tag me on Instagram or wherever you post your work if you are producing anything that you've seen on my videos. Just love to see it, and especially if you've used that in a game. I really like to see the idea of someone using something that they've learned from me and it goes towards another product. I don't know, it's what you teach for. That's why I teach, is to have that sort of progression and see students doing well. And that's what I miss about classroom teaching, is you see a bit more of that and you really get to know people more. And I feel like I don't get as much of that with YouTube, which is the only downside to being a YouTuber. I do really like what I do, and it is much nicer than being in the classroom for all the other stresses that come with being a classroom teacher. But what I do miss is that face-to-face interaction. That was always really rewarding. Having said that, I have recently enjoyed the 3D artist programs that I've been running. There's one coming up. That will be, I think it'll be starting to advertise in February, and you can sign up in February. In fact, I'll put the link in the description if you want to sign up to one of my art programs, and you can put yourself on the list and to be told when it's coming up. But that's really nice because I do actually get a little bit more interaction with people there. It's not a huge amount because you don't see them face to face as such, but you do see the progress, and that's quite nice. So you see them starting here, getting to here, and it's like a what is it? It ended up being a 12-week program, the last one, because we extended it, added bits in because they just needed more support to get further along, and there was a few breaks in there as well because people were finding it tough. And I like to listen to the students and take a lot of feedback, so it ended up being kind of 3 months worth of this artist program. But that's really good fun because I actually get to interact more. But nothing takes away that sort of face-to-face classroom experience. So that's one thing I do miss, and I think that's one thing to be aware of if you're trying to do a very solitary career like YouTube. And on that note, if you are thinking of starting your own channel, I think it is much harder now than it was when I first started in, 2016, like I say, producing real content that I was looking for engagement on. And it's a very tough environment because there's so many people, lots of people have the access, the means of production. So microphones are cheap, mobile phones to record on, screen record software is very easily accessible. I use OBS, by the way. It's free to download and it's very good. In the past, it was a real pain, but nowadays it's really easy. So lots of people are doing it, and I think that does make a big difference. If you're trying to make a name for yourself, you have to have quite good content to start with, and I know that kind of goes against what I've been saying about just go for it, but it might be the case that I would say just go for it, record some things, try things out, upload it, and if you don't get any views, then try again, try better content. If you want to be a YouTube educator like me, then you do have to value the teaching as well as your abilities in that. So let's say my Blender ability, I also need the teaching ability, and I think that's why my channel kind of stands out a bit more to others, which are probably better at Blender than I am, but if you can't understand them, it's very difficult to access their channel. So I think that's part of the success of Grant Abbott YouTube channel. Now, for those of you that wonder what I do all day, do I just sit in front of the computer making Blender stuff and then thinking of tutorials? It kind of is a bit like that. I sort of tinker around with different tools, try things out. It's surprising, actually. Most of my time's made up of making courses, because there's more income in that. So the YouTube is a little bit secondary to that, although I suppose they're on a par, really. But the courses take more time because you've got to sit down, plan out the whole structure of the course, and then record each section, and then you might have to go back and change things. So there's quite a lot to building courses. But in terms of the YouTube, there's a strange stress to YouTube, because you're always thinking, what is going to be my next video? And most organized people, I was talking to Zacharias Reinhardt from CG Boost just the other day, and he's a very organized person. He's great. If you don't know his channel, check it out. Really, really good, high quality content, CG Boost. But they're almost the opposite to me, because mine is a little bit more, I don't know, haphazard, a little bit last minute, but he's super organized and super efficient, and I did admire that about him. And in fact, let's take you on a studio tour, so you can and look away if you have a phobia of disorganization, chaos, mess, because what you're about to see, well, I'll show you. So there's my setup just there. I've obviously got a couple of monitors and the drawing tablet, Asus monitors, SenseLab drawing tablet, PC Specialist and NVIDIA sponsored that PC just there. Got my Ecor shades, that's from 3D Total, and a couple of mugs. You need a couple of mugs when you're working away, don't you? One's not enough, you have to have two. Then over on the side, the other side over there, that's my kind of green screen setup, although the whole back wall I painted green, and I didn't even finish the painting. This is how haphazard I can be at times. I painted what I needed to paint. So we've got a green screen in the background there, and we got a camera over there so I can have an auto cue. My laptop is set up there, but it's on just a box, as you can see. You can see stuff filling out of the cupboard behind all that over there on top of the shelves. And we've got all these things across the bottom here. I suppose what I'm suffering from is a space issue, perhaps, but I get by and I don't worry about it too much. Got the wires trailing out of my computer. Got my headphones on the floor there. I've got this where I can walk along whilst in meetings and things like that. I think that's quite good. There's my wire management at the bottom there. Again, it's one of those things where I don't worry too much about the details. Over this side, might even be worse than the other side, actually. So again, I've got lots of rubbish on the floor. That's a shoulder strap to try and sort out my posture when I'm sitting. That's a hot water bottle because it's cold here. That's an extra jacket. There's my guitar amp, and I very rarely play the guitar anymore, but it's in here anyway. And you can see it's all kind of spilling over everywhere and kind of messy. Even on my desk, it's pretty messy, as you can see there. Anatomy for Sculptors book at hand, ready to go. So there's my setup for you. So you can see from that I'm a little bit chaotic, which is kind of naughty. I would like to be a bit more tidy and a bit more organised. It might be a little bit to do with the fact that there's so many different avenues that you can take with YouTube, and you get a bit scattered, like the objects I was talking about that are for reviewing, and I still haven't got around to reviewing them, or they were too difficult, they broke, and you've then got this thing that's going on in the background that you can't get on with, and then it takes up space. And there's lots of different projects as well that I started and didn't finish, and most artists have a bit of that, but I don't think it's a model lifestyle. But I guess I kind of want to show people that you don't have to be this really super organized person to get to 600,000 subscribers. You can be a bit, there are different ways of operating. I think that's important to know. And there's a slight organized chaos that I live under. I follow lots of routines though. Always going to the gym, well, at least 5 times a week, and make sure I get out of the house. If it's not a gym day, I'll at least go for a walk and clear my head. Do lots of exercise. That's really important. I've got quite bad posture when I'm sitting down, so I've got the walking thing there to try and sort my posture out. So I have kind of routines and things that what I call them my non-negotiables. So going to the gym is something that's really important. So other things can't take that over. If I'm not going to the gym, then I'm kind of in a bad place, and I need to be going to the gym to make sure my life has a certain amount of structure. Then these other bits of lack of structure don't matter as much as long as you've got these base layers of structure. Hopefully that makes some sort of sense. That does. So whilst it looks like I'm disorganized, and I kind of am, and I'm a bit last minute, I do have a set amount of discipline and structure within my life to kind of hold it all together. So I'm not saying give up on structure at all and just be completely unorganized and do random things at random moments. Definitely not. I think it's important to have that structure. But what I am trying to show is that you can be relatively successful with a bit of disorganization as well. Not everything has to be organized. If you are one of those organized people, well done. Put it in the comments. Say, I'm an organized person. You are a disgrace, Grant. Or if you're a chaotic person like me, but you still manage to get by somehow, then you can tell me that in the comments as well. Because I kind of like to hear these things. I like to know if I'm on my own or there are other people out there who are living this same sort of lifestyle. What I would like to do in the future is a bit more traveling and meeting people and making that part of Grant Abbott, the YouTube channel. I like doing the interviews, although they can be a bit stressful because you're trying to think, is this good for my audience? What question do I need to ask next? I'm not sure if I'm that great at interviewing. I'm a little bit better when I'm in person, and it's harder to do those sort of things over Zoom and so forth. But I would like a little bit more of that because I do love that sort of interaction, finding out what's going on in the community. That community aspect, I think, is just really exciting and really interesting. So that maybe is somewhere where my channel might go in the future. And if you're in Europe, I'd love to come and see you if you're doing some sort of cool project, and I can come and interview you because I want to travel around and meet people. So let me know. I'm also trying to get the philosophy of having more adventures in life and just kind of going for things. You've probably picked up that that's kind of my personality anyway, but I feel like I'm losing that a little bit to too much sort of monotony, and I'd like to get out there and have a bit more adventure in my life and go and explore, because my life does tend to be a little bit on the computer, down the gym, maybe play a bit of sport, back to the computer. So I do need to get out there and experience the wide world a little bit more. So having adventures, perhaps that's my New Year's resolution, is to go and have more adventures. So there it is, Grant Abbott, the YouTube channel. Again, thanks to everybody that's subscribed. Thanks if you're still with me and watching this, even though I've been rambling on a fair bit. And leave a comment to let me know what you're up to, what your projects are at the moment, what your plans are for the future as well. I haven't even mentioned AI at the moment. I'm just kind of keeping going. It's just all you can do, really, isn't it? You just keep going, and if everything changes, then you have to change with it. If not, you just keep going. So that's my philosophy at the moment. So if you've got any plans for 2026, then let me know in the comments, to do with 3D art or YouTube channels or something like that. But you might have different plans, and you can let me know in the comments. I do like to read all the comments because that's kind of my interaction that I'm missing from my old classroom days. So give me a comment, let me know what you're up to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.